Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose, and this is the Tarot portion, the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I'm going to discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Six of Cups. And it is here because in astrology, it corresponds with the second decan, or the second 10 days of the sun's transit here in the land of Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is a water sign. Cups in tarot are water element symbolism. And water element symbolism is very much about our emotions, how things feel for us, the intuitions that arise with our emotions, the bodily sensations we get, the questions that come up, the information we attain from those emotions, right? So here we come to the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups, no, not the Five of Cups, my mistake, the Six of Cups. And here we see what looks sort of like two children, perhaps, to I'm to be given to believe that, you know, one of these people is more grown than the other, I think. Two people, one is handing off a flower in a cup to the other, and all told there are 6 cups here. So, you know, this card often speaks to a sense of nostalgia, of sort of reverie, thinking about happy memories that we've had, or perhaps even like a reunion with some person, place, or thing from the past, okay? Sort of a pleasant joining of the past with the present. And, you know, also with a warning to avoid becoming so engrossed in our fond recollections that we don't pay attention to what's going on in the present moment. Okay, so, you know, with cups, with water element symbolism, comes the sort of shadow side that includes sort of manipulation, or just a sense of illusion, even giving ourselves illusions, everything. So yes, enjoy the fond reverie. If somebody from your past shows up in your zone, it's cool to enjoy reconnecting with that person, and also just pay attention that you don't allow your periphery to be fuzzed out so that you don't see what's going on around you. And with all of that said, I did shuffle these, but I'll shuffle them one more time and say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your presence with me. We have the King of Cups, friends. Okay, so, you know, here we come back to cups, right? It's cups and cups. It's water and water, okay? It's a fully watery, emotional kind of day. And that's sort of appropriate because we have all this moon action. Moon is ruled by Cancer, which is the cardinal water sign. It's all moon action here today. So it's all about how things feel for us. And that's what's informing sort of how we behave in the world, right? So the King of Cups here represents mastery of emotional, a mastery of emotion, okay? Mastery of feelings, mastery of intuition, mastery of emotional impulses, right? Emotional drives. So, you know, what we see about the King of Cups is that even though, you know, the water all around this person is sort of choppy, you know, so emotions, things can be going on around this person that feel a little not calm, right? There can be some anxiety coming up there, or there can just be, you know, some questionable emotions coming along. How do I say that? Yeah, some sort of anxiety creeping up around this person's ankles and their throne. And even in the back here, you have this fish jumping out of the water. That speaks to me about intuition, like maybe their intuition is speaking very loudly to them, maybe what they perceive here, you know, because they're sort of looking off off camera, so, sort of into the future there. What they perceive here is perhaps not making them feel very calm. Maybe it's sort of rippling up or sort of bringing our emotions into a more excited state. So, and our intuitions into a more excited state. But this person remains calm. They're wearing glasses. They're thought to be very rational. Okay, they know how to rule with their heart, because kings rule. They know how to rule with their heart for the benefit of their people and their land. But they also know how to do that in a rational way. Okay, they can be calm on the surface while paddling like mad underneath, right? We don't necessarily, there's a sort of never let them see you sweat vibe to this person, right? So, it can be very helpful. It can be very grounding and calming to be around a person who projects calm even under stressful circumstances. You might know this if you've ever, just worked with or in any capacity in your life been around somebody who can sort of traverse anxious and upsetting situations with a sort of calm fortitude, and it's not as though they're not affected or they don't understand the seriousness or the import of what's happening. It's really just as though they are going to remain calm. They're determined to remain calm and approach things in as rational way as possible. And so what do we see on the page here? Well, we see Sun, Mercury, and Venus all pretty much conjunct together in Scorpio right now. So, this is our sort of our personal lives. Okay, the Sun is sort of our outward facing life, our public persona, the person that people encounter when we step outside our door, who we are in our work, social, and civic spaces. And so that's us. And then Venus is here. This is our receptive hearts. This is the part of us that tries to attract those things we want, tries to draw them, try to get them to come to us. Venus is sort of our attractiveness, okay? And then Mercury is there, and that is our rational mind, our thought process, how we make our plans, what we, especially what we think up to do on the spot, or what we think up to say on the spot in any moment. So, perhaps in a moment of stress, see the square to Saturn here and see the opposition to Uranus here. The opposition to Uranus can be pretty stressful, because opposition brings about the potential for conflict, and Uranus is a change maker. It just kind of shows up and says, yeah, we're going to do something differently this time. You're not going to get to do this the way you always do it. You're not going to get to approach this problem or this person or this place or thing in the way you normally do. Okay, so the ways that we're used to being in terms of our public persona, in terms of our ability to get the things we like and love, in terms of our ability to plan and communicate, these are these are under review for the change maker to come and say, yeah, we're going to do things differently right now. So we have to be on our toes right now. We have to be sort of willing to change our perspective based on the current data so that we can make sure that we are still on the right trajectory, right? And then Saturn is square both to Uranus and to these three planets. And this is just a reminder saying, yes, you can still take action. You just have to remember what works, what works, what is tried and true for you, what is traditional even. Just sort of don't, just because we are tempted to make changes, or even if exciting or interesting or even scary changes in perspective just dawn upon us, either way. I got a little stuck there. I'm sorry, friends. But, just because these changes are upon us doesn't mean we have to necessarily change course in terms of our long-term sense of security and stability, okay? Just because, information comes to you, or an invitation arises, or, even like something that has to do with you changes, and so you do have to make changes to adjust to it, that doesn't mean you have to forget what your trajectory is for security and stability in the world, okay? So just keep that in mind and do what works for you. Do what always works for you. King of Cups, do what always works for you, okay? When things are anxious, when things are changing and we don't necessarily know what's going to happen next, it is important to remain calm, all right? Sit upon that firm foundation that you have built for yourself and say, this is what I'm working for. I'm working to maintain this position. I'm working to maintain this calm because this is what leads to my personal security, both inner and outward, okay? And then taken together with the Six of Cups. Likewise, friends, if a friend, a relative, a person you know from the past shows up and wants to, reminisce with you, remain calm, all right? Don't get so excited, again, that you don't notice what's going on in your periphery, because people will try to fool you by getting close to you. I don't know where I read this. It's been so long ago, but I read something that said, the closer you stand to somebody, the more sort of power you have to influence them. And I've found that to be true. I try to give people lots of room because I don't want them to feel like I'm looming over them, trying to sort of control their behaviors, right? But the closer you stand to somebody, the kind of the less they can see about what you're doing. So, the more power you have to influence them. So, if something out of your past comes up for you and says, hey, let's reminisce, let's have a good time. Let's look back on how things were in those good old days. You remember those good old days? Remember those cups full of flowers we share, those fond, loving memories of connection that we share? Yes, it's great to be able to feel those feelings, but we don't want to get too excited, okay? We don't want to get so excited, again, that our periphery gets blurred and all we can focus on is those memories and the fact that this person or this thing from our past is right here before us, and maybe we didn't even think we'd ever see them again, right? So, be happy to see the people that you're happy to see, but understand that, people, don't always just show up out of the blue simply for the sake of connecting with you. Sometimes people show up out of the blue because they want something from you. Sometimes people are manipulative and they're not straightforward and don't tell you what it is that they're after, right? The King of Cups, when King of Cups comes up in reverse, I'm often immediately brought into mind of somebody trying to manipulate a situation. So perhaps in this case, nobody's really seeking to manipulate us, but that doesn't mean that we can't sort of lose sight of our sense of what it is that we're working for, right? Especially if an opportunity comes up for us to make some sort of a big change in perspective, a big change in our trajectory. We still have to remember what our personal goals are, and we have to stay calm and keep that in mind and remain dedicated to the course we're on until we are certain that that the opportunity that is available to us, or that the invitation to change course that is available to us, is sort of verified. Or because I watched Oh Brother, Where Art Thou the other day, make sure it's bona fide before you change course, okay? Yeah. And, trust your gut and intuition. If you feel excited about something, here's the thing. Scared feels the same as excited, right? Excitement is neither a positive or a negative specific term. You can feel excited and be anxious and fearful, but be telling yourself that you're excited because you're happy. Don't fool yourself. Don't manipulate yourself into thinking that this person or place or thing that's come back into your zone, to cause you to reminisce. Don't fool yourself into thinking that, it's just about the memory, or don't fool yourself into thinking that, it was all good, right? Because the people come and go from our lives for reasons. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you all showing up every day. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.